The Battle of Psychics begins this project about people who have supernatural abilities. At least they say so, but we don't take their word for it. We prepare the most incredible tests for our participants. There are 9 people fighting now, but at the end of this program, one of them will have to leave our battle. So psychics are ready for new tests.
Strange patient at a psychic appointment.
Just support.
This young man is ill.
The game. Noise.
Rush hour on the train. Psychics versus pickpockets.
One of these people has a large amount of money with him. This person needs to be found.
The scariest place in the city of Yaroslavl. Satanists were killed here. The accused admitted to drinking blood. Can psychics prove their guilt?
I can't describe what I see. Help us, please. I can't. We need to know. I can't.
Some people, losing hope in solving problems alone, turn to clairvoyance. Typically, a person immediately states the reason for their visit at these sessions. We wondered, if psychics truly see through people, why not let them tell us the reason? Let's conduct a small experiment.
And this woman's name is Tatiana. Together with her son, she turned to our program for help 5 years ago. A serious problem arose in this family. Kostya's son became a gambler. Almost every day, a young man spends his time at slot machines. He stopped socializing with friends, abandoned his studies, and life became a painful existence from one game to the next. He loses large sums, pawns belongings in hopes of winning them back.
Well, somewhere every other day this happens. It usually does not last more than 3 days. If he returns a loser, then there is guilt.
He tried.
Not to repeat it?
Constantine himself is ashamed of his pernicious addiction, which is why he will appear before our clairvoyants and TV viewers in a mask. Tatiana really hopes that our psychics will help cure her son, but first we want to test the abilities of these people. Will psychics be able to determine on their own, without any clues, why they turn to them? Forensic psychiatrist Mikhail Vinogradov volunteered to ensure that the clairvoyant did not try to look for the reasons from Kostya's himself, and Tatiana will observe the progress of the experiment at the monitor. The psychic Vlad will be the first to determine exactly what problem Kostya turned to.
Who stands in front of you came here with one, but a very big problem for him. With which one? Please try to tell us.
Can I ask to look into my eye?
He hypnotizes him with his fingers, makes him like a spider with his paws.
There is clearly a lot of negative energy going on. Now I will look at more detailed specifics.
He brought a spider.
I can say right away what I clearly feel.
The energy is damned.
You clearly quarreled with the esoteric 100% because you subsequently became...
Who is the esoteric?
The young man is quite tall, has dark hair, and is interested in black magic and Taroli divination, or similar.
I'm not familiar with the
person.
You don't seem to conflict much.
You're having an impact. Psychologically at the level of an immunized curse.
What have you got?
Considering the vast amount of options, I need to narrow them down and make exclusions. Still, the primary issue is I believe a person energetically influences the psyche. I'll stick to this theory.
Vlad Kadoni spoke a lot and ended up confusing us, but eventually we understood that the psychic believes Kostya turned to remove a dreadful curse.
I doubt he can assist because he might be some sort of occultist, and I genuinely have apprehensions about such matters.
But what will we see the other clairvoyants?
Could you provide me some support?
After learning that Kostya sought help, a shaman from Kazakhstan immediately began diagnosing.
Dogs are fighting inside. One good, the other bad, and a bad dog began to eat you, and you are fighting with yourself inside.
She says, Epicate, everything is correct. I sometimes think that what is on his mind
Happens. The struggle of black with light.
The issue is that I became involved in his family as though his parents were separated. He is unable to forgive his light.
We can attest to these words of Kozheta. Konstantin indeed has issues with his family. At the age of 11, his parents separated. The world in which the boy lived had collapsed.
At this stage, his father's work was disrupted and new parallel hobbies emerged. I'm referring to the woman he formed a strong bond with. It was fraught with conflict, very violent, and consequently, it affected his outlook. He had a deep affection for his father. But the father does not have time to meet the child.
Kozheta experienced that this individual has familial issues, but primarily the shaman was mistaken. This young man approached us for a completely different reason. The next psychics, having learned that they needed to name the problem with which the young man turned, began to give him a variety of diagnoses.
The problem is with the prostate.
It is highly probable that it's human immunodeficiency.
In general, I thought about it.
Others observed that Kostya's principal issue stemmed from his horrendous past experiences.
His life intersect, he witnessed numerous significant events.
He lost his wife and child.
Prison.
Killed or what?
Yeah. One of the clairvoyants, Lana Sinyavskaya, categorically refused to undergo this particular test.
I can't.
Well, excuse me, please. I can't.
Unlike previous psychics who took a very long time to tune in, Zaradin Rezaev began his story literally from the first minutes of the test.
Leave the house.
It happens not at home. Listen, this is undoubtedly...
Room is the darkest.
Music is playing. There's a loud noise, and regarding your financial situation, I've spotted a man well, neither thin nor fat. In total, there are 2 of them. That's what I've noticed.
2 people, 2.
Their problem is rooted in how a man originated. I don't know.
Relative? Was there such a relative?
Yes.
And who exactly?
His uncle escorted him to the playground.
Is uncle playing a game?
Plays, yes. My uncle had a family and it broke up over slot machines.
He is definitely not a responsible person. He has a very severe issue. Just say one word. Some kind of game.
All right, I can tell you about his issue. He suffers from a gambling addiction, an obsessive need to gamble for money, which is considered a mental disorder. To put it another way, it's a lifelong condition similar to drug addiction.
Sometimes you want to believe this. He also did drugs before, although the amount was very minimal.
I certainly know for a fact that they were not doing drugs.
There was such a thing.
I keep a close eye on what a drug addict looks like.
What?
He tried. You're horrible. How could I follow?
After Zirodin Arzayev's statement that her son was taking drugs, Tatiana hurried to interrupt the tests. The psychic had already seen too much. The woman decided to continue further communication without our cameras.
I will have free time go to my place.
What time?
More convenient.
Call to talk, okay, everything will be fine.
Out of all the psychics working today, I found this one to be the most impressive. He revealed the entire truth.
So the psychics passed their first test, but despite its results, it is too early to say for which of the 9 participants our battle will end today. Right now, an incredible experiment awaits them, the results of which may be completely unpredictable. Everything will happen here at a regular train station.
One of the passengers is transporting a significant amount of currency.
I believe these are definitely not Russian rubles.
The psychics will feel the currency.
This odor has already started to bother me.
You are watching the Battle of Psychics, and I am Mikhail Poroshenkov, an ordinary electric
Carriage.
favorite place of street musicians, beggars, and pickpockets. Being here at rush hour with a large amount of money can be simply dangerous. However, it's a known fact that fraudsters can unerringly identify those who conceal large sums of money in a crowd. Usually, many years of criminal experience assist them in this. Is it conceivable to smell money through supernatural abilities? So our trials are about to commence.
In this carriage, we have gathered ordinary passengers who hurry about their daily routines, whether heading home or to work. Their eyes show fatigue, and their pockets carry a maximum of 1,000 rubles. Only one of these people is not like everyone else. A few minutes before landing, he received a 10,000
euros.
Observe carefully to notice the difference. The passengers in whose hands is such a huge sum could be any of these people. This is what our psychic will have to find out. They have a great test on the train. In front of the clairvoyant are 60 people, 512 pockets, 78 individual hidden places, and only one of the hiding places is hidden. 10,000
euros.
Can psychics locate this money? I do not believe so.
It is absolutely true that psychics can smell some kind of disease, but they will not smell money.
The psychic customs officer, Alexander Litvin, is the first to start the test.
Alexander, the task at hand is straightforward. During rush hour, many people congregate, but one has a large sum of money on them. This person must be identified. Have you ever attempted such a task? Well, yes, then this will help you. Do you feel anything?
Alexander.
Some information is starting to come in now. I imagine that these are not Russian rubles.
Not yet.
I can affirm it for a moment now. It's the euro.
We want to ask you?
I say this euro. Can you wake the girl up? I don't want to watch her dream. I'll kindly ask passengers to take a deep breath and not worry about financial matters.
In this row?
Of these two people here? These two?
Yes.
It is imperative that we see someone.
I think this man.
Let's ask. No, I'm like... Regrettably, Alexander, I must implore the affluent individual to rise.
Indeed, the sum of a 10,000
euro
is with this young man. He received it a few minutes before boarding the carriage, and during the test did not give anything away.
If such funds existed in a person's reality, it would presumably be linked to illicit activities of some nature. This man, I harbored a few reservations about this. The signal would have been significantly more robust. Under these circumstances, the signal was adequately not enhanced.
Let's see how much money this man has.
Well, I still think about euros. Approximately in the vicinity of
10,000
euros.
How much money?
It was a 10,000
euro.
A person with a large amount of money was 4 seats away from the passenger pointed to by the psychic. However, the clairvoyant managed to feel what currency the money was hidden in. They even provided the precise amount. However, psychic Lilia quickly mentioned that she would only need 3 minutes for this test. She made her decision in no time.
He does.
That Lilia was literally a meter from the goal, but the passengers of the car seemed questionable.
She just pointed a finger at the...
Located nearby.
But not really.
The next psychic, Alexander, before making his choice, stood in front of the passenger with money for almost 7 minutes. Just like Lilia Bull, Alexander Zelensky was on the verge of finding the hiding place. Can psychics truly detect the presence of money? Clairvoyant Lena Sinyavsky, seeing how many people in the car, was confused and refused to take the tests.
Therefore, it isn't mine, and I genuinely don't know how.
Refuse.
The hereditary sorcerer, Vlad Kadonia, was also at a loss.
Certain situations. Do you want to refuse?
No, I never refuse. However, the sorcerer's persistence led him to the opposite end of the carriage.
Not choosing a woman.
I did.
There are no other alternatives for me.
For a Kazakh shaman named Kajeri, our search trials were a delightful memory.
Before I found it, my mother Candy had...
The passenger knows that he has money, which means a certain energy comes from him.
I can smell the smell of money.
Somewhere here, right?
They're around here somewhere. The scent is strong in this area.
Smelling money, the shaman moved around the carriage for 10 minutes, from which we could conclude that the money was scattered in all directions at once. It was only at the bottom of the carriage that she discovered another smell that made her sit down.
I think maybe you drank a little, and this smell has already started to bother me.
A little, not a little.
You see, this one really fits me well. I select this woman. It comes from her from here.
The smell.
Where's the money?
Oh, no, absolutely no.
Although the shaman failed, as she exited the carriage, the woman she chose began feeling unwell.
When she was standing beside...
The feeling of fear was incredibly heavy for me.
The next psychic failed to scare anyone and also couldn't locate the money. From Shabanova was who rose apart. Zirodin Orzaev was a man with money at the same distance, only on the opposite side.
This school girl. This girl.
Yes.
For several hours, none of the psychics could find the money. Is the money hidden so well that the tests seem on the brink of disaster? Is finding material wealth truly an impossible feat for our psychics? The last tasks began Elena Brave. Ian immediately admitted that searching is not her specialty.
Generally, I have issues with money.
I am surrounded by a multitude of people, each with their distinct opinions and ideas.
Are you trying to read minds?
What do I have left? There is absolutely nothing here.
Well, yes, really.
Other than ponder, far from the money.
Stupid stuff.
The thigh is burned.
What is happening?
Him tell me that the thigh is being burned.
What?
Money.
This is a man who has money.
I'm unsure, but thigh is being burned. As you guessed, clearly a very strong approach. I feel my heart race, my head hurts. I had the feeling that I was in some kind of hypnosis.
I, Mikhail Poroshenkov, assure you that this money does not smell. And I am unable to describe what Elena Smelova accomplished before our very eyes. She was the sole person who managed this incredible feat. But will she emerge as the top psychic this week? Our trials continue.
This summer, on the outskirts of Yaroslavl, 4 corpses were found. Teenagers were being killed here. A fire was burning here. Hearts torn from human corpses were being fried.
Practice of dismemberment and uprooting.
Hearts, all this is made for.
Something bigger. Who perpetrated this monstrous crime? Local Satanists or mercenaries?
Murders, the present occult influences, perhaps even devil worship.
It looks like a ritual murder, but it's not a ritual murder. In fact, they killed them in order to film it all and sell it.
This is a battle of psychics. And now our participants awaits the last decisive test for today. This time, the clairvoyants themselves will go to where their help is waiting. But before psychics find out what they have to do, they will travel almost 300 kilometers.
The psychic's journey began late at night. This bus will take the 9 participants directly to the site of their new challenge. But where exactly are they going? They don't even know yet.
Yes, we have adventures.
Finally, our bus left Moscow and clairvoyant fell asleep. After all, at dawn we arrived at our destination in Yaroslavl 3 months ago. This small ancient city was literally shaken by terrible news. On the outskirts, in an abandoned wasteland in the Krasny Perekop area, 4 mutilated bodies were found. Almost immediately it became clear that these were the remains of teenagers, 3 girls and 1 boy, who had been missing for almost 2 months.
The bodies were mutilated.
The young girl's breasts were cut off. The heart was cut out.
The bodies of the teenagers were dismembered and placed in 3 different pits. All evidence pointed to one conclusion: ritual killings had occurred at this site. A total of 8 local teenagers were detained under suspicion for this heinous crime.
Just killed him.
At the first interrogations, they called themselves Satanists and admitted that they were in this vacant lot on the day of the murder. And immediately after the investigative experiment, a local specialist of the Satanists visited here.
This location is believed to be a ritual site where a bonfire was lit and human hearts were roasted. Allegedly, the alleged detainees made a confession.
However, Evgeny himself, who knows about ritual killings, still does not believe that a ritual murder was committed on the vacant lot.
There are 14 conditions by which one can determine the ritual nature of murder. None of these conditions are met here. It's just plain brutal dismemberment. Maybe it was done just for... Investigators concluded that it was the work of Satanists.
This young man is known by the local informals as Baron. He was personally acquainted with the suspects and is simply confident of killing 4 people. They are innocent of this.
Quite normal, in general, the adequate people. None of them were distinguished by any increased cruelty. It should be noted there that Satanism does not practice dismembering and tearing out hearts. That is, all this is done. It's clear that for something bigger.
Effect. But why then were teenagers given at? Strong testimony, the Baron has his own account.
But people could simply be intimidated, especially at a young age. In general, self-talk at a young age, in my opinion, not as uncommon in judicial practice.
If this is true and the teenagers really didn't kill anyone, who then is to blame for the deaths of 4 Yaroslavl children? To their parents, there are other questions to the investigation. Why, for example, is there still important evidence left in the terrible wasteland?
But they are very similar.
The blood even looks like the police evidence.
All that remains now for parents to go crazy from terrible guesses and versions of who killed their children and for what.
Our children were the only witnesses.
Which regrettably they are unable to disclose any information about this.
Today, the grieving mothers of the 2 deceased girls, Galina and Elena, have sought assistance from our psychics for insight.
I would really like to know the truth about how the children died, who dealt with them.
Our clairvoyants will not know anything in advance. Elena and Galina will meet them here in the wasteland, where the dismembered corpses of children were found. If psychics can provide details about the known factors of this tragic event, we will request them to address the primary concerns of the mothers. First to undertake this trial is Vlad Kadoni.
Galina.
Hello.
Elena, you.
I'm Vlad.
Our children
Corpses
were discovered there. Please share your insights about what transpired here.
It's not easy death now. I need them. Please stop. Look at them.
I immediately realized that his appearance refers to those people who killed my daughter. It made me so alert and scared. Still, I wondered what he would say.
What I can express immediately is that this location is overwhelmingly engulfed in darkness, seething with malevolence and animosity to a boiling point. And there were graves here, a multitude.
Although few in number, a handful of souls still linger here, have never departed from this place.
How many?
Not just 2 or 3, but more indeed.
Age, sex?
I discern solely young burials.
A group of teenagers. Who could it be? Boys, girls?
Boys and girls, but I'm still more inclined to girls.
Where exactly were the bodies found?
Here.
It's murder. It's definitely murder.
It's hard to say this, but there is no quick death. Death was painful.
Did this?
There were not 1 or 2 present here either. Here are mass of people. They knew them, but they were not in a close relationship. These are people who had some kind of acquaintance with them. Acquaintance, 1 week or 1 month.
I can say that 100%.
As the investigation found out, the murdered teenagers were really acquainted with the detainees. Oni Gorokova, a few weeks before her death, told at home about her new acquaintance.
She mentioned to grandmother that she met a young man, that his name was Count, and that he was a Satanist. My mother was very alarming. Anya took this so lightly. What are you, grandmother? This is nonsense. All this is just like that.
But Varya Kuzmina was brought into the company of Satanists, her young man Andrei. The girl told her friend about this, calling her a few hours before her death.
Well, Dasha said that she is in Perekop. There are a lot of people here, informal people that is. It's not entirely comfortable there. And she already regrets that she asked out.
After that call, both Varya and Andrei disappeared. Their remains were found in Perekop along with the bodies of 2 other victims, Gorokova and her friend Pol.
People who were buried were here through deceit.
Vlad Kadoni's version so far completely coincides with the version of the investigation. There were several killers and the victims were familiar with them. But will the psychics see? Why did they kill 4 teenagers?
There are clearly occult influences here, perhaps even devil worship. This black energy does not leave me. I know it very well.
This is my native energy. It is here, and many here in this place have undergone some kind of ritual.
Can you indicate
the exact place where
The ceremony took place.
Right here.
There were people on both sides, ritual spells being read here.
That 100%.
You're right.
This is where the psychic stands, what experts refer to as the ritual platform.
This area.
Not knowing anything about what happened here, Vlad Kadoni confirms the main version of the investigation. 4 teenagers were killed.
They did this in order to initiate one of their close acquaintances, the girl, to initiate into this rite of Satanism. That is, someone held, someone cut the girl who was supposed to initiate blood.
However, despite the confession of the detainees, there are reasons to doubt that the children were killed for the sake of a black ritual, and the reasons for these few in the first place to the sacrifice.
People after the age of 21, this is according to the canons of the Church of Satan. As we know, all the victims were 16, 17 years old, and sacrifice is possible only if there is an altar on the ground, a pentagram is drawn, neither was found.
And yet, one psychic who came to this wasteland claims that this was ritual murder site here.
There were people who couldn't even be called devil worshippers here, just rotten. If I had seen the people who were here, I would have hardened them with shame.
Perhaps our next psychic, Elena Smelova, will pronounce judgment on Satanists, especially since the clairvoyant immediately saw.
Very disfigured bodies. 4 people.
Elena also gave the exact number of victims, but for the next 10 minutes she could not say a word.
I am not tell. They died? I can't.
After Elena Smelova exited the set, we pondered if we should continue this trial at all. We
just wanted to see that she will tell, because we came here to find out the truth.
The next one, Shaman Cocheta, tried to answer the mother's questions. She immediately turned to Earth for help.
Mother Earth, what occurred here?
But she couldn't see any exact details.
It shows something like a braid or something. Well, how can I explain? This is how it came out, and for some reason the hand doesn't show anything else.
She seemed to genuinely want to help. All this came from the heart. I wanted to help. Well, she didn't succeed.
Svetlana Sinyavskaya became the 4th clairvoyant who will try to understand what happened here with these women's children.
Here, not just children, there's more children here. Not just one murder, but 3. I'm not sure how many. They are very young, that is, well, not very young, that is, they are like high school students or something. That's how old they are. This happened recently. At first it was warm, and the greenery was so normal, that is, the greenery was not dusty here. I don't know, they weren't whole, but pieces. That is, I believe they tortured them extensively.
See Len.
I can't say what I see.
Help us.
I can't.
You must.
For some reason, I don't know, in the polyethylene, they are closed. That is, well, they are kind of, well, their intestines are. Why did you kill them they were filmed them on camera. That is, they were simply filmed. That's how they were killed. You are their reason there is money. But what does it look like? That's like ritual murder. Like ritual murder. But it's not ritual murder. In fact, they were killed in order to film it all and sell it. There was a cassette of these pictures, this cassette.
The words of clairvoyant Lana Sinyavskaya about contract killing may turn out to be true after finding the bodies of teenagers and removing the cordon in the grass nearby. They found this.
This is the package that came from under the videotapes. It's possible that the criminals recorded what happened.
However, it can be assumed that the packaging was left here by the first journalists who visited the crime scene. The version of Lana Sinyavskaya seemed implausible for the mothers of the dead teenagers.
There is child pornography, there is some kind of demand for this, but in order to film brutal murders and then sell it to someone, this is the first time I've heard about it.
If it happened at night, as they say, 1 o'clock in the morning, so that it could be seen, there are no lights here, there is nothing.
For some reason, there is another child there. For some reason, a small child there.
Was it a newborn or something small?
No, there's a lot.
An approximate of exact nothing was said.
I want to observe others, analyze, compare, and see what they have to say.
In our next observation, the psychics were unable to come even close to solving the mystery of these gruesome murders that involved school-age children.
There was accident approximately 6 months prior.
Most likely.
The children are strangled, Shibanova generally decided to play it safe and listed several versions at once.
It's cold there. He already has a gun. Knives. And the ropes.
Fire. What she was trying to do here is not at all clear.
I overdid everything.
And here is Azerbaijani psychic Zerodin Arzaev. Before giving an answer, what happened in this place? He took a handful of earth in his hands.
There were some different places where different places were buried. There were 3 places. I see this.
When Zerodin Arzaev arrived at the murder scene, he was determined that the remains of the children had been found in 3 different places.
Here were the directly central parts of the body, then there is a small pit too. There were the limbs of the victims, the head of the victims, then it separated it.
Can indicate the place where the bodies were found.
Without hesitation, the psychic headed hidden in the dense thickets to the pits, which the experts spoke about.
Here and there.
In the first minute of the test, Zerodin showed all 3 places where the fragment with bodies of teenagers was found.
Negative, find my here. One side completely out of... It was merely a nightmare. Legs are different. This I've seen.
How many children were there?
I see 3. Girl here. And 1
young
man.
When did the murder happen?
That was exceptionally dark night. I see a dark place, and for some reason it is small. Fire.
Fire, bonfire.
I fail to comprehend the significance of so small. Fire. Occasionally I envision something, but clarity eludes me. A need for better interpretation. I sense something there. A black dog or maybe a wolf. The exact animal remains unknown. The dog was also killed here.
Zerodin is right. Local residents have more than once found animal corpses here.
On this cross before, there was a corpse of a cat here and a corpse of a dog with a cut.
It turns out that the animals in this place were killed by the same teenagers, who are now suspected of murdering 4 people. This statement confirms Iboronsak, who was known to detainees,
That they had their own satanic clan, that they were going there on Perikop, they were offering sacrifices, bringing animals.
Are they really teenagers who brutally killed dogs and cats? Have decided to commit murder. The teenagers...
Negative, guys killed.
Since you see murderers, how many are there?
I observe that there are 8 individuals involved.
Yes, you right bodies of the children, which were found in this location, brutally killed and dismembered.
Can you explain what it is?
Separate heads, arms, and legs.
8 people killed.
I see the main of one. This is the most important criminal.
He
bald.
And you see the age of this criminal.
25, 26.
So you saw it was him who killed, right?
Yes, it's far away somewhere. There is a sea, and the sun seems hot there.
Zerodin Arzaev named many facts already known to the investigation, and the psychic believes that the leader of this gang has not been caught. Although the case has not yet been closed and no one has been charged, experts and lawyers are also confident that one of the killers is still at large.
Surely someone supervised these
teenagers.
Do you understand this age? It's so audacious to do it.
I think there is at least one adult who led this whole thing and who threatened or you would take the blame. Or you see there are 3 pits, but instead of 3, it will be 10 pits.
I think so too. They were pawns. There are adults of some kind of sect and that they will go unpunished.
So all the psychics are returning to Moscow. Very soon it will be decided for whom of the participants this task was the last in our battle. I will name his name immediately after the jury's advice.
I have my doubts about the bull and about Shaban.
Do I want to stand up for Lily?
I really don't like ruining other people's plans, but I still have to do it. The jury has convened to decide the fate of one of our psychics. One member will leave our project today, but first, share your thoughts on those who pleasantly surprised you.
Zerodin Arzaev performed exceptionally well in Yaroslavl and even better with a professional gamer.
Yes, indeed, he felt those facts that, in general, even I forgot about the uncle who once invited Costa to play.
Got him hooked on it.
Yes, let's say.
I noticed that he was impressed, but he couldn't find the passenger with money in the train car. However, there were psychics like Elena Smelova who managed to find this passenger.
Elena Smilova utterly failed the test with a professional gamer.
But it is still very difficult to make a choice now who is still better.
Sinyavskaya also told many facts in Yaroslavl.
Sinyavskaya had a remarkable performance, especially if we are to choose today's leaders. Sinyavskaya, Zerodin Rzaev, Kadoni.
But you seem to have trouble deciding. I see that there is no clear favorite. Still, if two of you vote for someone, we have a chance to choose the best psychic. Please make a choice. I'll announce your verdict later. Well, in the meantime, let's make the main decision about who will leave the Battle of Psychics this week.
I have doubts regarding Boole and Shaban. Shaban?
Really went through the versions, it listed everything possible.
You know, I agree with Shaban, a very cunning person and at the same time a weak psychic.
Well, who do we say goodbye to then?
Shaban?
Actually, I would probably think more about Lily Boole. I would have said goodbye.
Why?
For the test in Yaroslavl and by a gambler, and the versions she put forward were absolutely ridiculous.
Then she began to prove that she had said everything.
Yes, when we told her that, Lily, you didn't see the main thing, she said, well, how come I didn't see it? I've been all my life. Cure you. Gambler, come to me for treatment, I'll cure you.
I'll treat you.
Here I want to stand up for Lilia Gul, because at least unlike Shabanova for a test on a train, she pointed to the man sitting next to our passenger. She was as close as possible. Unlike Shaban, there is a plus.
It appears to me that a single hit is just an accident.
Regardless, we must vote and make a decision. 3 of you, 1 vote will be decisive. Well, the choice is made, thank you, and I hurry to the psychics who are waiting for me at the appointed time in the appointed place. Dear Psychic, inside this black envelope is a photo of a person who, according to the jury, no longer has a place in our project. I will reveal their name shortly, but for now I will open this white envelope and we will discover who excelled this week. Does anyone feel that their picture is here?
I think Vlad.
Vlad, what's your opinion?
I'm incredibly anxious and can't think straight right now.
Let's get it.
All right, I open the white envelope and take it out carefully. We get nothing. The jury board haven't clear favorite. We lack the best this week. But let's talk about a man whose name didn't appear among the top. In this envelope is a photograph of a psychic who will no longer participate in our tests. I want to say that at the very beginning of the project, this person was sure that he would be the winner. I really don't like to ruin other people's plans, but I still have to do it. I open the black envelope. Therefore, according to the jury, our battle is concluding. For Oset Shabanova, you have the floor. You didn't expect. Personally, I don't doubt your abilities. So the council decided this week you showed the weakest results. Thank you very much.
Farewell.
I didn't expect it at all.
To our viewers, I want to say the Battle of Psychics continues now. There are 8 of them left. Watch, exactly a week later at 8 p.m.
They actually didn't recognize me at all?
You know, not to doubt, you're just such a dozen, gathered a lot of very strong ones.
Come on.
I'll be with you.